Man, what is happening, my YouTube family? Of course, it is your boy B New. I'm coming at you on this Monday. And first and foremost, let me send out positive vibrations and blessings to anybody who could be listening. And I want you guys today to send out some positive vibrations to me as well. I know it has been a little while since I've been coming on with the daily shows. It has been a lot of turmoil and things going on. You all know that we do go through this thing that we call life. And we have to dredge through this thing. And a lot of times it's filled with its ups and downs. But at the end of the day, we surrounded by death and we surrounded by pain. And there's always some things that's going on. But as always, like I said, we keep everything positive around here. So just keep sending me positive blessings and I keep doing the same for everybody else. Now, I know I've been gone. I missed a lot of headlines, man. So I don't even know what y'all want me to talk about. One thing that I did notice, I'm not even going to talk about the Titans and what they did to me and how much bread they lost me yesterday. We're not even going to get into all of that because, we keep it about the NBA around here. I will touch on some NFL for a little bit, maybe at the end of the show if you decide to stick around. But man, one of the main things I wanted to focus on was while I was gone, it seemed to be a lot of people talking because, AI was on a podcast and he was, posed a question, of course. And then, we had a lot of people who had to come with their back and forth and their opinions saying what he meant instead of just taking, what the horse said right from his mouth, that horse being AI, when he said, man, I love me some Jordan. I love me some Jordan. But he said, LeBron, he the one. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know if y'all understand what the one mean. You understand what I'm saying? Because you got a lot of different numbers out there. As a matter of fact, you got infinite numbers out there. As a matter of fact, numbers go on forever and ever. And out of all the numbers he chose when he was referring to LeBron James, he said he the one. So it ain't no interpretation needed. You understand what I'm saying? Because if you sitting up here, man, even CeeLo Green used to have a song where CeeLo used to say, you the one, girl. Was that CeeLo Green? I don't know who it was. If it wasn't, then that's who it sounded like. I can't remember. But it said, you the one, girl. You the one, girl. Man, throw your finger in the air if you the one. But guess what, though? Hey, let me tell y'all something. He was referring to GOAT James as being the best. Now, a lot of times people want to say, well, all the greats say that Jordan was the great. Man, listen, a lot of people live in nostalgia. We could talk about nostalgia another time. I try not to do that, especially when I talk about some of those great Boston Celtics teams of the 1980s. You understand what I'm saying? A lot of these teams were great, had lots of Hall of Fame on. I'm not never taking anything away from a Kevin McHale, a Larry Bird, a Dennis Johnson, a Danny Ainge, or any of that. I grew up watching all of these teams, and I know they were great teams. You understand what I'm saying? I won't take away from anybody's era. That's not what I do. But back to what I was saying, people say you have hidden agendas. If somebody like an Isaiah Thomas says, well, to him, LeBron is the GOAT. Oh, well, he mad because of Jordan beat him. But he had already beat Jordan, so what he mad at? Oh, Jordan kept him out the Olympics. Listen, like he said, his competition was Larry and Magic all through the 80s. That's who was keeping Isaiah from eating. Jordan didn't really stop him from eating until after Isaiah had the injury. Y'all know, I don't know if y'all know this, but Isaiah had a bad wrist injury that really affected his shooting. Go back and look at Isaiah after the wrist injury and what happened in the end of that series. And because of the expansion draft, they took, was it Aguirre? They took, who was it, off of the team. You understand what I'm saying? But no excuses for anybody. But at the end of the day, what I'm trying to tell you all is, Allen Iverson has the right to change his mind. When he said Jordan was the GOAT, he said that when? Maybe 3 years ago, 3 or 4 years ago, whenever it was. Since then, he just cannot believe what LeBron James continues to do. He probably looked at the season LeBron had last year, and he looked around and saw AD was hurt for over 50 games. He saw that everybody was out. He saw that LeBron didn't have no help. And then what did he say? Man, this man's still putting up 30-plus points. And although they didn't get to where they needed to be, and that was due to LeBron James being injured, because if I'm not mistaken, he only played 56 games himself. You understand what I'm saying? But just to keep seeing somebody who can play at such a high level at the age and how many years and wears and tear that he had on his body, let's not forget even through Jordan's 15 seasons that he played. Yeah, and I do include those last 2 Washington Wizard years. The 15 seasons that he played, 2 of those seasons with the Washington Wizards, was still at a pretty decent level, but at that age. But he took a break in between. You understand what I'm saying? 2 breaks, one for baseball, which wasn't necessarily a break because he was still getting conditioned, but he had a mental break from basketball because we all know how that is. Because if you go back and you look out through the history of how teams fared, you would see Detroit went to what, 3 or 4 finals in a row? They went to 7-game series against the Celtics in what, 87? Then 7 games in 88 against the Celtics, Eastern Conference Finals. Then they went 7 games with the Lakers in the finals. Then the next year they swept the Lakers in the finals. Then the next year they beat Portland in the finals. That's 3 years in a row in the finals. You go back and tell me how many teams won, excluding the earlier teams, the Boston Celtics teams of the 60s, we all know, excluding those teams, the Bill Russell teams, and I'm not saying nothing against them, but we're talking about an 82-game schedule, the conditioning of what takes place. Now, I'm not, like I said, I don't take away from era, so that still was a great thing, but I'm talking about in the modern era of basketball. How many teams have went and won 3 in a row? The Lakers did it with Kobe and Shaq, and then after that fourth year, it just get a little bit harder. Because when you go through that stretch of playing that much basketball at a time, it takes not only a physical toll on your body, it takes a mental toll. And look at LeBron James. He went to, 8 finals in a row. And he was the common denominator in all those finals. And the ones that he won, he was the finals MVP. So let's not forget that. And there's so many different reasons why. I can go on forever why LeBron James is the GOAT, and the man not even finished. But I'm trying to tell y'all right now, listen, if he get 40,000 points, then make him the logo. I know a lot of people requested Kobe to be a logo when he passed, and I understand those sentiments, and I wouldn't be mad at it either. That would be a great thing for basketball. So before anybody go ahead and start getting all upset, man, either way would be fine with me. I just think sometimes you need a change, man. Jerry West, he great, He even said himself he would be up for it to change, And if it don't, it's still not a big deal. You know what I mean? But I just think it would be dope because LeBron James is going to pass Kareem Abdul-Jabbar for points. And that is something that you is not going to see in several lifetimes. So all you people out there, whether you say longevity or whatever, and for instance, longevity, look at Carmelo's career. He played that many years. Did Kobe play 20 seasons? I think so. So Vince Carter, didn't he play 21 or 22? Why is his numbers not where LeBron James is? So it's not just longevity. It's that what the boy be doing when he out there, when he hooping. You understand what I'm telling you. AI said he was the one. Now, AI went against Jordan, and he went against LeBron. So AI know. He done seen both of them. Now, what reason do he have to lie for? And he grew up as a fan with the nostalgia of Jordan. But the more he sit back and the more he see, like, man, how can you not watch this man play basketball and y'all want to come up with every excuse in the book to try to discredit somebody? That's the funniest thing about it. Never in any of my arguments am I trying to discredit. Now, I will say Jordan played in a expanded league era where 6 teams were added on his watch, and there's several other things we could talk about because people don't seem to look at context. But we got so much more to talk about when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers. Ham said that Kendrick Nunn is looking good in practice. He said, in the weight room, said he is really developing well. He said he's going crazy in the weight room, and Ham said we're gonna have a damn good team. Now, whether or not whatever happens to Russell Westbrook, we all know he was putrid from the outside, but let's not forget that they all didn't have a chance to develop any chemistry at all last year. Now, we know, and Brian Windhorst went ham the other day and said that, there's no way that a Patrick Beverly, Russell Westbrook backcourt could work. Kendrick Perkins went on the opposite end of the spectrum the other day and said that that they could be the best defensive backcourt, which I don't understand where he's getting that from. If he's going way back to UCLA when Russell Westbrook played defense, you understand what I'm saying? But, if Ham can make him pay attention to detail and make him apply pressure up the court, I don't see why he couldn't do it. Now, maybe not as a great on-the-ball defender, but if you can apply pressure up the court and make people have to work a little bit harder to get a shot or to find an open man, then I think that's something he's capable of doing. Is just increasing his defensive intensity and moving it up a notch a little bit. We're not saying become a master defender or nothing like that. We're just saying increase the defensive intensity, which I think Ham is going to make very, very important. Now, we knew that Frank Vogel was a defensive genius, as a lot of people called him, which he depended on a lot of switches. I want to see how much which in this game you have to switch a lot, especially with the way people swing the ball around the top of the key and look for the open man, always making an extra pass. But we're going to see what the Lakers can do on the defensive side of the ball. And it's going to be very interesting because, as we all know, none was the mid-level exception last year. And what's another thing that's exciting about the Lakers, too, they got some young legs that they got, too. I like that Damian Jones has come back to the team. I think he has a lot of good potential in that 5 spot. I think Bryant has some potential in that 5 spot. So now we have some young legs that can play that 5 to take that off of AD. Because last year, even when you had AD in, you got to put Dwight Howard in the 5 spot. You know, nothing against Dwight Howard, but he's well past his prime. Dwight Howard was terrible in the pick and roll. You understand what I'm saying? Terrible in pick and roll defense. I'm not talking about on the offensive side of the ball, but you can move AD more back to that natural position of allowing him to be a stretch 4. I think Golden State did just fine not having a center shooting threes this past season. It worked out well for them. So, you know, you can still stretch the floor with a 4 in today's game. You know, depending on how you stagger Westbrook's minutes, if you stagger his minutes just right and if he's still on the squad come tip of the season, then do what you got to do. Then you still got Patrick Beverly, who can still get out and defend, which that's going to be great for the other side of the basketball. I know you asking where the scoring is going to come from, but Anthony Davis and LeBron James are going to have to carry that load. I can see LeBron James still for the 18th and 19th season in a row averaging more than 25 points a game. I can see Anthony Davis increasing back to 25 points a game because they hungry for it. So, you know, a lot of people don't have respect for the Lakers. They lost respect for them, you know, because of what happened last year. But, you know, it's a what have you done for me lately society. You understand what I'm saying? But, hey, I'm here to tell you, anytime you have LeBron James and Anthony Davis healthy in a playoff series, I'm going to have to slide my bread on over there to them. That's just what I'm going to have to do. Because we've seen what happened before. Now, the Phoenix series, AD went healthy. And that's a wrap. So we haven't had a chance to see it because the Lakers have been very unfortunate and because LeBron James has had to carry the majority of the load because of where they reconstructed the roster and got rid of a lot of players when they got Westbrook, which kind of messed it up because if they could have kept KCP, somebody else who could play defense and stretch the floor, they could have kept Caruso, somebody else who could play defense and stretch the floor. They would have kept Kuzma, somebody else who can play defense and somewhat stretch the floor, who was actually showing a lot of upside as far as being able to hit the glass and do things like that. But anyway, you know, oh yeah, I did want to mention somebody else said LeBron James. It wasn't just him. The great Dr. J, who was Michael Jordan before it was Michael Jordan, said that he the chosen one. At the end of the day, he is going to reestablish the bar for what the GOAT is. And that's coming from Dr. J. So y'all haters, man, y'all know what to do with it. And as always, this is your boy B New. I just want to say right on to the real. Much love to the haters. Y'all, let's keep pushing. The season is getting closer and closer. We're going to come in. You know, once the season gets started, the show will be here every day for breakdown and analysis of all the games and what shall be happening when it comes to all things Los Angeles Lakers. So, you know, as always, right on to the real. Much love to the haters. We out.